You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Theater of Note for their presentation of Marion or the True Tale of Robin Hood.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Kirsten Bangsness. I am a theater maker, and my day job is I play technical analyst on Criminal Minds.
And who do you play tonight?
I play Marion in Marion. I think she's not a whole person unless she's both expressing one or the other, and I think that's what's interesting. Some people feel better identifying purely in their feminine, more in their masculine. Some people both, and I think it's interesting because she's kind of on one way or the other way.
If my viewers decide to come by and see the piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect a really sweet, it's almost like it's like a sweet Disney-esque retelling of the Robin Hood myth, exploring gender expression in a very safe way. And what I mean by safe is, if you were non-binary, I feel like you would feel safe here. And if you were like, I don't know anything about this, you would feel safe in exploring it in this play. And I think that's what's really affirming and sweet about it.
Yeah, usually at Theater Note, I'm used to seeing things that are very challenging for an actor, like people playing geese, or people playing a vase or something like that. Yeah. This one is actually more of a piece where you just go to just enjoy yourself, like watching an episode of Robin Hood.
Yeah, it is. We decided we do ambitious work here. So whether the ambition you're seeing is to challenge the mind or whatever, this was physically challenging to all of us. We're reliving 1199 and all that. So it's a different kind of flavor.
Well, I really enjoyed myself tonight. I love your performance.
Thank you
because
so much.
It was very entertaining, exciting, adventurous. It's something that actually I wouldn't mind bringing children to.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell them there's a little bit of sex, but it's safe sex. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, once again, I really enjoyed myself. I really liked your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh my God, my pleasure. Thank you for coming so much. Thank you. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with...
Hey, my name's Chris Johnson. I directed this production of Marion that you saw tonight.
So, question, what do you like most about this piece?
The thing I like most about it is that it really is actually keyed into the whole Robin Hood tradition. Like, the traditional Robin Hood plays are all about, song and gaudiness and sexuality and fights for fun, and it very much captures that spirit, so it's got that whole sense to it, that sense of fun and carnival and, pure entertainment.
Yeah, usually at Theater Note, I'm used to seeing really, really heavy acting from the actors. Like, a person playing like a cannibal, or, a person playing like, suicidal. This one wasn't as intense. It was more a place where you go and watch like an episode of Robin Hood.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's fun. You got to have that. It's very super theatrical, so it's acknowledging that it's a play all the time, and it's about having fun and making everybody feel included, and they're part of a party. You know what I mean? It's that kind of show. Myself, I personally actually like darker, morbid, more super violent stuff. I do a lot of Shakespeare histories and stuff like that. But this is a nice change of pace. It's fun to incorporate all those elements and use it for fun.
This actually reminded me a little bit about She Sleeps to Conquer.
Yeah. It's got that tone. It's got that tone because it is steeped in the traditional Robin Hood thing. It's got that period comedic, artificial tone to it. Yeah. So I would agree. Yeah.
I also really like the actors. What do you look for in your casting?
Well, that totally depends on the show. For this show in particular, we were looking for people who had a good ability to pull off comic stuff, but we also needed singers for this show. Although we didn't rule anybody out for that reason, we kind of hoped that if we got a few people who are really proficient singers, that they could handle that, and we'd get everybody else on easier stuff. And fighters. This show, everybody had to fight in this show, so we needed people who could handle a sword, people with body awareness. So it's all those things. For this one, we were kind of looking for people who are triple threats, really.
Well, I really enjoyed myself tonight. It's kind of a play you eat popcorn to. I wish I had some popcorn with me, No,
well, I'll let them know. I was trying to get them to do a whole period thing with peanuts and loaves of bread and ale and stuff like that, but it wasn't in the budget, so.
Well, thank you once again for being on the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with?
I am Joel Scher. I'm an actor and I'm a member of Theater of Note, and I just finished an opening night of our play, Marion or the True Tale of Robin Hood.
And which character did you play?
I play Prince John.
What's your take on Prince John?
Historically, I'm not exactly sure if this particular depiction was that accurate, but in this play, he is a rather effeminate and greedy, which is appropriate, I think, and struggling with his identity and sexuality, and of course, using money as his way of moving forward.
I love your performance. You were just larger than life. You actually remind me of a version of Jonathan Harris. You know, when he was a stage actor in the old days?
Oh, thank you very much. That's nice.
Well, once again, I really love your performance. I think you were just the perfect villain, the perfect Prince John. Thank you very much for being on the show.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with?
Sierra Marks. I'm a member of Theater of Note. I've been a member for about 3 years now. No, actually, maybe almost 4 years now. And this is my third main stage, and it's a lot of fun. We had to learn a lot of choreography, fight choreography, and singing and everything for it, so it was a lot of fun.
And which character did you play tonight?
I played Alana, Lady Alana. She's kind of the heart of the story in a way. Well, she drives the story, rather, because she's literally narrating it. Robin Hood and Little John are kind of maybe more the heart of the story, but but she narrates everything that goes on from start to finish from an outsider's point of view, and then jumps into the actual action a lot of times. So it's a nice dual role to go inside and outside of the story.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Oh, they should expect to laugh and be wowed by the action and impressed by what we do with the Black Box Theater in Hollywood.
For the Theater of Note, I'm used to seeing very bizarre work here, like, you know, people being geese or people being like eating cards and all. But in this particular case, it was more of a movie. It was more like an episode of Robin Hood, where basically there was a bit of a gender bender to it.
Yes, it was. This is definitely, we chose this to be in the season because we felt we needed something with levity and fast pace that would just, you know, you kind of got to mix things up. We had some, actually, it's funny you mentioned people being animals, because earlier this season we had someone being roosters, and then we're going to have something a little bit more serious later in the season, but we felt we needed to have something light, especially at the end of summer, just kind of like boost people through Labor Day and kind of like a jolt of energy in the middle of the season.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed myself tonight. It's very entertaining, and I really love your performance. You're fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Actually, it's funny you mentioned eating cards, because that was me. I ate those cards. So, come back again.
Thank you once again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with?
Kathleen O'Grady, one of the producers of Marion or the True Tale of Robin Hood.
So, question, what do you like most about this piece?
I like a lot. I really like what the play says, but I particularly have fallen in love with all the fights in this show. There's so many fights, and I love that the girls kick it.
You know, at the Theater Note, I'm used to seeing some really challenging performances from actors. This one wasn't, I wouldn't say it wasn't as challenging. It was more entertaining. It's more like I saw an episode of Robin Hood.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit of an end of summer romp. It's a lot of fun. It's a lighter fare, but it still has some really important questions and answers that it tackles. But yeah, you're right. This is a slight departure from Note, but it was still challenging. I mean, we took a bunch of actors who are maybe proficient at fighting, and absolutely these guys are fantastic with all their weaponry now.
So, if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think if you come to see Marion or the True Tale of Robin Hood, you come to see a midsummer night romp with a lot of heart, and you get to sort of think about the things that are going on in our world today in terms of relationships and how people interact with one another.
It kind of remind me a little about, she stoops to conquer.
Sure, yeah, there's a lot of classical elements in it, but still then there's those anachronistic little zingers that kind of make you go, oh yeah, well this is a contemporary play.
Okay. Well, I really enjoyed myself tonight. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much, and thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Jen Albert, fight choreographer for Marion or the True Tales of Robin Hood.
So, question: my viewers decide to come by and see this piece. What should they expect to see?
A lot of fun, a lot of violence, but in a good way. Some awesome acting, some great singing. It's all kinds of fun.
Actually, a lot of theater pieces I just can't bring children to see because usually it's pretty dramatic, it's pretty soul crushing. This one I wouldn't mind bringing children.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of mature content, but if you feel like your children can handle it, bring them. Why not? They'll enjoy it. Come for the violence.
Yeah, it's nothing they wouldn't see on Netflix.
It's true. No, I would say this is like probably PG-13.
What was so challenging about the fight choreography? Was it the space?
The space is always a challenge, whenever you're choreographing fights, unless you're a proscenium space. But what it was most challenging, I guess, was that nobody actually had fight training. So I started training them about a month, 2 months before rehearsals ever started. So they had to learn how to sword fight from scratch. And they really rose to the occasion and put out amazing work, and they're safe, and it's beautiful, and I'm really proud of them.
Well, I really enjoyed myself tonight. I thought it was like seeing an episode of Robin Hood.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Marion, or the True Tale of Robin Hood, will be playing at Theater of Note from August 23rd to September 22nd. For more information, go to www.theaterofnote.com. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Beverly Hills Playhouse for their presentation of Yellowface.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Rob Zimmerman with Firescape Theater. Tonight we premiered Yellowface, premiered this production, which is from San Francisco, and we brought it down here to LA because the message is still very timely.
And did you direct the play?
I did.
So question, why did you decide to do this play? I mean, what inspired you?
Well, honestly, I'm an acting teacher up in San Francisco. We have a school up there of about 90 students. And when I first started teaching, we had 7 students, and 5 out of those 7 students were Asian Americans. And I started learning about Asian Americans and their role in the acting industry. And this play speaks to that in a very clear way. So we hit a certain point where we were like, how do we express what we're feeling and thinking? And Yellowface was the result.
Well, I love the play. I thought it was this was different from any other play I've seen. You would see a totally different play if you were Caucasian or opposed to if you were Asian.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I look for when I'm looking for a great play is what are the universal themes that are there that will speak to everybody in some way. And I feel that David Henry Long has written a remarkable script in that regard because this does speak to everyone in some way.
I guess, again, everyone's talking about, Asians and Caucasians coming together in some common mindset. I think that's basically what I see here, kind of the bridge in which it's like we're all kind of different. It's just where you're different. It's just where you're trying to find yourself and all that. It's just your identity or your face.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I've been addressing with Asian actors over the last 9 years is, number 1, don't make yourself a victim. Number 2, just be the best at what you do, and let the chips fall where they may. And the industry has finally started to catch up to that idea, that not only should there be a genuine diversity within the business, but also just cast the best actor in the room. So that it's not about who we are necessarily, but more about what can you do.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, they first of all should expect to have a really good time. It's a very, very funny show. But they should also expect to be moved, because the stories that are being told are political, but they are also extremely personal.
I agree, because usually I'm moved intellectually, like by philosophy or by some kind of self-awareness and all that. This one actually moved me a different way, kind of socially, kind of you know, what's America all about and all that? Is this really the country I thought I was in and all that? It showed an ugliness about it in maybe a collective way. Because usually when I go to theater, I don't think of the collective, I think of the individual and all. But this I kind of thought of us as being a country, you know?
Well, one of the things that I've concluded over the last 5 or 6 years is that as a country, we no longer have things that we agree on as a collective. That where in the past there was at least a baseline agreement of, you know, what does it mean to be in America? What is the American dream? That's all been so completely deconstructed in the last 25, 30 years that we no longer have any common touchstones. We never say, hey, 4th of July is a good day. We say 4th of July is a good day, but. Or we say, hey, it's Jefferson's birthday, and Jefferson was a great man, but. And so one of the things that I'm looking for in the material that I choose, and the message that I want to put out there as an artist, is let's start having a conversation about what we can agree on. Let's find one thing. Maybe that one thing is empathy. Maybe that one thing is being a good neighbor. Whatever it might be. But we have to find that one thing so that we can start rebuilding all of the bridges that have been burned down.
I also love your choice in casting. The actors, they were just perfect for the people that they played. What do you look for in your casting?
The best actor in the room. And we have a tradition at Firescape Theater up in San Francisco of casting in an ethnically blind way wherever it's possible, as long as it doesn't go against the character or against the story. I'm currently thinking about doing a completely rainbow-colored Cat on a Hot Tin Roof by Tennessee Williams. And if I do it, I'm going to even make the people within the family different ethnicities. Because I think that by approaching material that way, we can still tell a good story, still be faithful to the characters, but also very subtly, or not so subtly, start to shift the audience's perception of ethnicity and what it means.
I just don't think it's... I personally would not like it to be too out of the way. It's kind of like, you know, a lot of people have complained to me about classical theater that there aren't enough good women parts. Mm-hmm. I tell the women, just go audition for a male part. So just audition for Richard III. But then someone would say, well, why don't we just do an all-women version of Richard III? I said, no, don't do that. If you want to do Richard, you do Richard III. Have the best men be the best men. It just looks like an imitation of they're all women. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it's funny you should mention that because I just directed a production of Importance in Being Earnest earlier this year. And I was cross-casting gender-wise all over the place. Gender, ethnicity, just across the board. But it wasn't all women. It was a mix. It was literally me hiring the best person who came into audition, regardless of who they were.
Yeah, I just love the performance tonight. It moved me, again, in a way I haven't moved before. It's kind of like, it was funny, but it was funny in a sardonic kind of way, you know? It was dark, but not in the dark way that you'd expect when someone gets killed or something. It was dark in the sense that it was kind of like, you know, is this what we are and all that. So I did love the piece and all, but again, I was kind of torn through the soul, you know what I'd say. Good.
That's what we aim for as artists. Art should, especially theater, should always provide some kind of catharsis. And if it's not doing that, then you have to ask the question, is it really art? And I have nothing against a good comedy that's just light and fluffy and whatever, if it's well done. But for me, to put the time in as a director that it takes, there's got to be a message of some kind. There's got to be some way to reach into the audience and grab some hearts, twist some guts.
Once again, I really loved the performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Jennifer Volay. I'm from the Bay Area, raised in the Bay Area. I went to UC Santa Cruz for theater, and I was at the Beverly Hills Playhouse for 7 years. Finally moved down here and just having a great time. This is my first play in LA.
And which characters did you play?
Leah, Cho, and others. There's so many, and they all have different dynamics that I can't really choose. Fei Chin is actually one of my favorites because it's the opening. Because it's so ironic, and his criticism, or at least how David Henry Hwang wrote him, is the irony of the whole entire play, and how David Henry Hwang addresses that comment alone.
So if my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I would say they would expect to see David Henry Hwang's attempt to dismantle white supremacy and racism all in one play. I would say one of my favorite characters is not what I play, but Alfonso Faustino plays David Henry Hwang's father, because his dream is also my dream, where we can be ourselves as Americans and be able to not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of a character, like Martin Luther King Jr. has said. After doing this play so many times, I start to discover different parts of myself. I start to get dismantled in terms of my identity, and really seeing how growing up Asian in America, we often had to choose between black and white American history. There wasn't a lot of Asian representation in the media for me growing up. And we got, or at least for me, I would get pitted against either you're a white Asian or a black Asian. There's no in between. So growing up, I often ask, like, what does it mean to be Asian? So that's what's so beautiful about Yellowface, is that it addresses that.
I loved the play in a sense. It was very funny. It was already... The humor was... how can I explain the humor? It's kind of like, if someone spit on you, you'd be able to find something funny about it. I guess he spit on me because I'm so attractive. Or, you know what I mean? It's like, if someone's going to call you short, if someone's going to... And other people are laughing at you, I guess they're happy. I'm a clown. You know what I mean? It's like that. Some of the humor, some people might find offensive, but it's not what the type of humor you'd see in a regular theater. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the discomfort that people feel, but makes them laugh, because it's also true. There's a lot of truth in it, especially when Alfonso Faustino plays one of the senators who doesn't know how to pronounce one of the person's names, which is Ing, but he says Nig. I think that's really hilarious.
Actually, did you hear about the, Crazy Rich Asians is coming out?
Yes, I've heard. I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet.
Did you hear that they were actually thinking about casting a white woman as their lead character?
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
No,
I'm serious.
Constance Wu's character, they were gonna...
The woman.
But Constance Wu's character, they were gonna put a white person?
Yes, so they were gonna put a white woman there.
Wow. Really?
Seriously?
I'm actually... I can't fathom that idea. That doesn't make sense to me. After all of the uproar from the Asian American community that they would get. But they did it right, because Constance Wu is in it. And I hear it's at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah, what happens is the writer kept the rights to it. I think he licensed it out for $1.
Well, I think it's really beautiful that as Asian Americans, a lot of us, at least I feel for myself, know our roots, know where we come from, and maintain our integrity. I think a lot of us, people of color, are tired of being erased by white supremacy. I actually foresee a really beautiful future where we all come together in solidarity to support each other.
Well, I hope you're true about that. I hope one of these days I'll be able to see it, because I've been waiting to see kind of like, civil rights and all that for quite some time now, and I'm starting to think that it might not be in my lifetime. But I hope it's in your lifetime.
It's happening. Like, we are in the thick of it, of the change happening. We're seeing, like, Black Panther did so well. Crazy Rich Asian is doing so well. So it may not be easy for us to see because we're in it, we're a part of the history, but when we look back in time, we're like, oh, whoa, it totally was happening. It was brewing. We are coming together, and people of color are coming together as a community to uplift each other.
Well, I love this piece. I loved your acting. It was so sincere. It was very moving. And again, it wasn't a play where only Asians should go to, or that you would love it if you're an Asian. You'd love it if any race. Because it says something, you know what I mean? It says something, even if you don't understand what it says, you're going to know that someone said something. So once again, I loved your performance.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel very blessed. We did this play 2 years ago in San Francisco. And the timing was great when I actually moved down. They just decided to bring it down and produce it here, and a lot of us have moved down here. And thank you so much for your comment. I actually left the theater. I left acting after this play 2 years ago just to live life, just to know what it's like to be human. And then we found out who was president, and the Black Lives Matters movement was happening. So all of the political climate, the racial climate, the amount of sensitivity that was heightening in terms of what does it mean to be American, immigration rights, trans rights, all of that was in the thick of it for the last 2 years, at least for me. And I took all that with me because that's what this play embraces.
Yeah, I think anyone who sees this play will actually see a piece of history. Because a lot of talk about history, actually. So once again, I really loved your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Roman Moretti. I'm a young actor. I moved from San Francisco about a year ago. Been in LA since then. I love it down here. And been happy to share this performance with people for a long time. So I'm glad we were able to get a chance to do it.
Great. And which character did you play?
I play Marcus G. Marcus is, he starts out as a very conflicted guy. He almost doesn't understand where he fits in life and as an actor. And once he gets a little piece of semblance of home and a community, he really runs with it and starts to become a being that David is not as comfortable with. But Marcus starts to really embellish who he is and grow into himself.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
A whole night of comedy and a lot of gut-wrenching comedy, and we also have some really good drama to get the tears flowing if you're into it.
Yeah. The comedy was actually, I wouldn't call it racist. I wouldn't call it a slapstick. It was kind of uncomfortable. I wouldn't call it even dark comedy. It was just really uncomfortable. It's like if someone told you this Polish joke and you laughed at it, you would think, I'm ashamed of myself for laughing at this.
I'm a terrible person. No, well, we try and go for that. We want to make sure that the image we're painting almost gives people the look at how absurd almost all of it is, how absurd racism can be, and not add light to it, but to almost blow it out of proportion so that people can see that these things are actually happening. And so it helps kind of direct everybody's attention to what the true moral of the piece is.
Okay. Well, I loved your performance. I thought you were fantastic. I love the piece as a whole. It was very intellectual, very, very, very social, very political. I learned a lot from it, and I just don't see plays like this.
Yeah, it's rare. This play hasn't been done very often, and once we did it 2 years ago, it's been something close to my heart, and so I think it's a message that people should be looking forward to see. It's a change of pace from the usual theater that you're out there looking at.
Right. Once again, I really loved your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Yellowface will be playing at the Beverly Hills Playhouse from August 10th to September 26th. For more information, go to www.plays411.com/Yellowface.